Buongiorno. Good morning, everyone. I know what you're thinking. You see an Italian guy here up on the stage with a microphone, with lights. His surname is Ramazzotti, like the famous Italian singer. You're afraid I'm going to sing, right? So security, please lock the doors. Nobody goes to the coffee break until I finish my song. I actually have a confession to make. And the confession is that I feel a bit like I'm an imposter here because I'm not a designer, I am a marketer, okay? I used to be a designer though, back in 1996, that's when I started. I used to be a designer, then in the year 2000 I switched to the dark side of marketing and I never changed back. I just knew that that was the way. And boy, have I seen things from 1996 to 20 and 26. When I was listening to Vitali showing his first game, I was thinking, I started playing with Pong. Okay, what he showed was the future for me. But things change very fast. We don't really realize that because we are all working at a very fast pace. And things happen very fast. We don't really understand what speed is like. Like, just for example, we are on the face of the Earth today. The Earth is spinning around its axis extremely fast, about 850 kilometers per hour. We don't really feel it, right? When we are outside, we don't feel this wind in on our faces, let's say, okay? But it is changing. And when we are sitting on a plane, like 12,000 feet, and it's flying, we don't really feel the speed that we are going. But we do feel gravity, some of us more than others. We do feel when the plane takes off, when it climbs up. Basically, what we do feel is acceleration. This is the great news of the past, let's say 3 years, because AI has generated a massive acceleration in our business. Very, very much so. But it did not really, it would be wrong to say that it actually generated change. We are used to change. Change has always been there. If there is one constant in our job, in communication and marketing, that is probably change. Change has always been there. And that is also true for design. So today, my role here, what I decided to do is to, in a way, tell you what are the things that actually changed and where the acceleration of AI actually impacted the most. But it's also to show what are the foundations that are still the same, the things that are not going to change, the things that you're going to be able to just hold on to when things get rough. Because we know that this AI hype has generated a lot of noise that sometimes makes it difficult to separate noise from the signal, okay? So sometimes we do need to understand what things are, the things that are happening, but we also want to know what are the foundations that we can rely to, but we want to know what is the hot soup by the fireplace that we find at home after a cold winter day. So I'm going to share some of the things that change and some of the things that stay the same. And for example, let me clear the air about something. We all know that design has never been just about user interface. It's always been a lot more than that, okay? Designers have always shaped how brands are understood, how trust is built, how people actually make choices and have always tried to influence choices. And this is one of the most important constants that we see. I believe that basically what we are seeing today also with the AI acceleration is that one of the patterns that is not going to change is actually the customer journey. And who better than designers are able to map the customer journey? Of course, it's not linear as it used to be. It's not as straightforward, and that's why I agree when Vitali was saying that it's a bit difficult to define it today. But still, we need to understand that this is one of the hot soups waiting for us at home in a cold winter day, okay? We still can think that customers for businesses, they will need to understand first where the business is, then they will need to understand how to interact it, how to consider its products and services in case of need. Then they will buy, they will become probably users of this product and service, and then they will finally maybe become loyal customers and potentially advocates. This is not going to change. This is still the same. So you're probably wondering, what is going to change? I'm going to talk about 3 things, basically. And one of the first 3 things is kind of obvious, and it's something that has been described before, but I want to state it anyway. The most important change today is actually design seems to have become a bit cheap. The tools are very cheap to do some design, okay? There are some things that might seem risky in this, but the point is that everyone now is able to create some sort of usable interface. It's not difficult. Even me, even myself, I'm not a designer anymore, but I could do it. I actually also copy what Vitaly said when he says that he puts his bets in Anthropic. I do the same. I definitely love Claude a lot more than I love ChatGPT. And what I did, for example, just to make a test to show you guys is I said, let's try to build an interface and a landing page for a conference. So I just made up an example. I decided to take an example, as an example, the World Usability Day landing page. I went to Claude, just uploaded it, and then I asked it to replicate it, but instead of doing exactly the same, I said, hey, just organize it in a way that it talks about a potential AI marketing exhibition, festival, conference in Bali in 2027, okay? Uploaded my prompt, which actually was AI aided, as suggested before, and then I had to wait just 4 minutes, like under 4 minutes, and the landing page was done, okay? This is something that has been generated. It's extremely basic, of course, but it's got everything. It's got headline, it's got the description, it's got the location, it's got the dates, it's got the navigation system, it's got a call to action. And this is just what you see above the fold, because just below the fold there are other things, like the topics that we could talk about, the benefits and features of the conference. Then there's the whole plan of the day, like the complete agenda, where you see even Balinese lunch, and you see also Balinese dances just in the after party. I believe there's going to be also tonight. Plus you see also the prices, so it's a complete landing page. But is it nice? Is it persuasive? Is it beautiful? Is it enticing? Does it invite you to go there? Not really, right? It doesn't really do that, because anyway, what still is missing is taste. It's beauty. And oddly enough, today AI doesn't really replace taste. If something, sometimes it exposes the absence of it. Now I want to talk about another topic. We switch gears for a second. We go a little bit deeper. We are used in 20 years to talk about interfaces as point and click, right? So we point and click, we tap, we swipe, we pinch, we move. But interfaces are becoming a lot different today. There are many ways in which we can actually interact with the system, okay? And in some ways, interfaces are actually not visible anymore. This concept is described as zero UI. You've probably heard about it, okay? So there are occasions in which actually interfaces have become almost invisible. If you look at this example, these are the Meta glasses that you can use, and you can control them with this bracelet. And I tried them on. It's kind of weird because you can scroll on your photo reels that you see on the lens by just moving your fingers, or you can snap a picture by moving, make another movement, or you can tap the sticks and you can even command it with your voice. So this is a form of interface that is completely different than before. So designers have had the opportunity to evolve into a different way of generating interactions and to making something usable and to making something persuasive, okay? Another thing is happening today, though. What would happen if interfaces completely disappeared? Because this is what's happening. There's another World Wide Web that is coming up today, and it has been mentioned before. We are used to looking at screens, to looking at interfaces, to looking at websites, apps, to using those, to actually being the person and the agent that actually performs things. But interfaces are going to disappear. There's a new kind of World Wide Web. There's a new internet that happens below the surface of what is visible. And I'm talking about AI agents. AI agents are going to be a different target persona for which we will have to design the customer journey. This is something that is completely different from the way that we use AI today. We use AI today a lot with a conversational tone, right? We ask things, we get replies, we ask them to search for us, but we do not entrust them yet with actually doing things for us. The word agent comes from Latin agere, which means guiding, leading, conducting, actually doing things. But many of the tools that we have today, they don't actually do things. They tell us how to do things, right? I'm going to take a small detour from this topic, then I'll get back to it. Just allow me to take a small detour. I want to be absolutely sure that we don't confuse AI agents with human-like chatbots. Those are two very, very different things. I'm not talking about those. Actually, human-like chatbots are something that kind of tends to be a little bit dangerous, okay? There is a bit of a trap in humanizing these chatbots. This is a little bit weird to describe, but it so happens, and studies have shown it, that when somebody is interacting with an humanized chatbot, which actually looks very, very real, the tendency is that it will think that these robot is almost alive. So it will project to this avatar human-like features and emotions. And when he will start to do so, he will think that this person is also fallible, that he makes mistakes. So as long as it sounds weird, the truth is that warm AI does feel better, but smart AI gets listened. So sometimes refrain from humanizing. It's kind of in our DNA. Every time we make a robot, we make it human-like, okay? It's kind of in our DNA to make everything like humanized or anthropomorphized. That's what difficult words are. But the point is that when AI seems emotional, people don't really listen to it. But when AI seems intelligent, people do listen to it. There is a very big misconception where we think that emotion equals reliability. That is not the case. Emotion is not reliability. Competence is what actually drives action. Competence is what drives adoption, not just empathy. It is necessary, but it's not what actually drives action. Turns out that in many cases, a chatbot that actually was replying fast, of course, but it was replying in written format or in a voice format was performing a lot better in convincing users to become leads or clients into websites. Let me get back to what I was talking before. So, back to the AI agents. So happens that 2 months ago, I got invited to speak at a conference called the World Usability Day. It's called WUD. I don't know if you heard about it. It's supposed to be very good. I definitely recommend it. And what do? Oh, I get to Tallinn. So, okay, let's go to Tallinn. Let's see. I'm going to open up Gemini, for example. Don't use it that much anymore, except for some things. And I start looking at things that I can do. So I want to know what is the best route to fly there without wasting too much time. I want to know what I can do to get to the conference. I want to find a proper hotel. Actually, I was invited to a hotel, so there's a bit of a lie, but we don't tell anybody. And while I do so, I get a lot of conversations going on, but the thing is that today, these conversational tools, they don't really do anything special for me. What AI agents and applications designed on AI agents will allow me to do is to actually have them perform things on my behalf, which means that when I will have a series of AI agents that will be orchestrated, that's the perfect word that Vitaly was using before, when they will be orchestrated, what will happen is that I will just need to talk Even when I'm driving or when I'm sitting somewhere, I'll talk to my AI agent or to an app that I have, and I'm going to say, I'm going to Tallinn between the 17th and the 21st of February, and he will ask me, okay, there's this and this hotel, which one would you like more? This one? Okay, book it. Where would you like to go visit? This museum, this hotel? Okay, I can book it for you. It will actually do things. That's completely different. But for this to happen, I have to allow the agent to use my credit card, to use my credentials for booking.com and actually put things. I have to give my credentials in the Ryanair websites to book the plane. This is a big of a step. So if you think that what is stopping us today from having already this landscape is technology, think again. There is one thing only that is stopping this, that is slowing this down. One thing only. And that is that one thing that cannot be missing in any relationship, whether personal or professional, that we have in our lives. What would that be? We are kind of used of having a trust relationship with other humans by going into a shop, talking to a shop worker, or going to a business and talking to a business person, right? And we are also used to trusting somehow bots and robots and websites and machines, because we do perform transactions online, we don't have a problem with that. But what we are still not quite ready to do is to allow our agents and robots to deal and negotiate with other robots and agents. This is the difficulty today. This is what everybody's working on. And I hope it doesn't sound like science fiction to you, because this is the issue that is happening today. The point is that if you're afraid that this is looking too much into the future, let me share this slide for you. These are the partners that are contributing to the agent payment protocols by Google, and it's just one of the payment protocols that are being generated. You can find banks, payment gateways, consulting firms, software firms, all sorts of companies. They are already contributing as partners to make it as safe as possible for agents to negotiate with other agents. What I'm talking about is that an agent can actually talk to me through a device. I'll talk to my agent. My agent, when I will tell him that I need to go to Tallinn, will go and negotiate with another agent exposed by a business, let's say booking.com agent, without going to the interface, just staying below the surface of the visible. I hope I'm explaining this properly. It will just stay below and we'll talk and negotiate exactly with that. Do you remember the first time that in ChatGPT we could ask the agent to make a search and would create, like open a window in the window and we would see it clicking and we would see the user interface? So it was like, yo, the first 10 seconds I was like, oh wow, that's super cool, super nice. After 10 seconds I thought, why are we doing something like that? What's the point of teaching an agent, like a software, to use an interface that was designed for humans? Why don't we connect directly the agent with the engine that is generating the catalog? And this is what is happening. You are probably wondering, what does this have to do with design? It does have a lot to do with design, because agents are going to be the new customer persona. I'm not saying that designers will not have to design for people. They will have to design for people, but not just for people. AI agents are going to be just another persona for which they will have to design for. The thing is, if you remember what I said in the first place, like when I said that design tools are making it a little bit cheaper and a little bit faster to create the executional part of design, it's also true that we have to change part of the culture that we have, and we have to involve designers upstream. We have to involve them a lot more into the strategy part rather than just on the execution part. We have to bring them on board when we have to make business decisions, when we have to validate an idea. That is what we have to do. Basically, if we are looking at a landscape in which yesterday designers were like kind of present at strategy meetings, but also very worried about the execution, we are looking at the tomorrow in which actually designers need to be very much involved upstream at the decision-making level, not just downstream to the execution. That's completely different, because they will also have more time to do it, because hopefully the execution is going to be actually aided by tools that can actually make their jobs faster. Because guys, at the end of the day, if you use designers only after the strategy alignment, they become decorators, and we don't want decorators. If we use designers before, at the strategy level, that's when they actually create value and they create a positive impact on business. That's a completely shift of paradigm. In other words, today, the most valuable design actually should happen before anything moves, before anybody raises a finger, before any interface is created, before anything is actually designed. Because it's becoming important to do it at strategy level. So, as much as it seems absurd and strange what I'm going to say, we're probably going to need less interfaces in the way that we are used to think about it. But oddly enough, we're going to need a lot more designers. Thank you.
Thank you, Paolo. We have a few questions coming up in Slido. How can AI agents be personas and have customer journeys when they don't have sentiments, pain points, and etc.?
Oh, they have pain points. There's a lot of pain points. Very good question, by the way. The point is that AI agents will need to trust other agents, okay? And the agents will be trustworthy when they will be fast, they will be reliable, they will have an authority score. So we're going to see a lot of new metrics appearing when we have to evaluate the whole process. Because these metrics that we are looking at today, like conversion rate, transaction value, all those marketing metrics that I'm so in love with sometimes, they're going to change. We're going to see agent-level metrics appearing to evaluate how good, how trustworthy, how much used are our agents. That's a very good question.
Good.
I hope I answered it.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for designing for agents?
Very good point. No, because I have not done it. I don't know exactly how it could be done, but there are a lot of applications, and I would definitely be worried very much about understanding security issues most of all, because that's what's going to drive the adoption. Basically that.
Great. Oh, they keep popping up now. How can designers be relevant with up-to-date knowledge if everything in the AI world is becoming tech-first and tech-heavy?
Unfortunately, they have to become up to speed with those topics, definitely. So there is some level of technicalities that they will have to face. That's absolutely something that cannot be avoided. But don't lose your taste, guys, because beauty is not going to change. What's beautiful is still going to be beautiful.
Any tips on how to develop better taste?
Develop better taste?
Yeah.
Well.
Okay. What's your strategy to lift designers from decorating to business strategies jobs?
Okay. I think that the basic thing would be to, as I said, to move themselves upstream, to start thinking about what is the business model. That is something that I've experienced in my life. Now, before people throw things at me, I've experienced in my life that sometimes designers are not overly worried with the business model of the companies they're working for. That's why I'm asking the business decision makers to take them on board sooner at the decision level, because if the designers are brought upstream and they work with a clear business model in mind, then it's more likely for this to happen.
Okay. A lot of talk has been about that AI is considered as a black box. So how to design for it without knowing its internals?
you have to look behind it. Absolutely. The first thing that I did when I started to understand how AI works, and well, I confess that most of the things that I do today is I try to make businesses visible on AI platforms. That's, as a marketer, that's something that most businesses ask me today. And in order to do this, I had to study, guys. I studied exactly how it works. I exactly studied how everything in LLM models is turned into an embedding, so in a mathematical formula. The fact that we think that ChatGPT understands our language is like completely off. ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, Claude, they do not understand a word of what we say. Everything that we do, every word that we write is transformed into a vector, a mathematical formula. If we don't understand this basic concept, there's no way we can understand how actually it works.
Yeah, we have time for one more. Do you think AI will have authentic empathy and emotions in the next 1 to 3 years?
No, definitely not.
Same reason?
Yeah, when it comes to AI, there's two long-term goals that we think it's going to reach. So one is called the AGI, so when it will actually become as intelligent as a human being. And some projections say that it's going to be happening around 2034, something like that. And then there will be one day maybe super intelligence like SGI. That's supposed to be probably happening like in 50, 70 years, something like that. We don't know yet. But the point is, I want to bring the words of Eric Schmidt, which is the former CEO of Google, which is a person that probably you all guys know. He said, if we believe, they asked him, okay, but what happens? What should we do in the moment in which actually AGI will be here, when machines will actually be as intelligent as humans? You know what he said? Pull the plug.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll make sure to deliver all the other questions to you as well. Big
Thank
round
you.
of applause to Paolo. And